Hello, everyone. Welcome to the fourth episode of the Tranzmissionz podcast. And my name is Eternal Cypher. And in this episode, I'll basically be going through some of the highlights of the media briefing that Sony had at the Paris Games Week that is going on in Paris. It's an event called the Paris Games Week. And basically, Sony had an event that showcased they made some announcements for new titles, as well as maybe giving us just a look at some of the games that they've already announced, and basically getting to see the progress that has been made in development so far, and also just giving more details about certain titles that we are aware of but probably haven't seen footage of and the like. So Zambian time, the event started around 19 hours, and I just got back home from work, so I set things up and I was able to catch the press conference. It ended sometime around 2030, I think, somewhere there, 2040, somewhere around there. So yeah, it was over an hour event, and there were some pretty interesting announcements which were made. First off, of course, there was a trailer shown off for Call of Duty, and that's the Giant Zombies map pack. So the zombie mode for the latest Call of Duty was shown off, the zombie mode. And immediately after that, we got to see a trailer for Star Wars Battlefront that will be out in the next couple of months, I guess. And we got to see some footage of basically a trailer of that. And there was also an announcement which was made about the Darth Vader PS4. This announcement was made earlier in the year, I think maybe a month or 2 months ago, about the Darth Vader PS4. So those of you who are interested, you should look into getting that for that particular PS4. Next, what was announced? Street Fighter 5. At the beginning of this particular announcement, I thought it was another game that was being shared, but it ended up being Street Fighter. One interesting aspect was it was actually a character review. I didn't really think it was going to be something like that. I just thought, maybe it was just going to talk about Street Fighter 5 and stuff. But it ended up being a character review, and the character which was revealed was Dalsim. The gameplay for Dalsim, we got to see that, and it was interesting. It will be very interesting to see how Dalsim plays. I didn't really quite like the way his character. I didn't really like his character in the last Street Fighter, which was Street Fighter 4. So hopefully with Street Fighter 5, hoping that he'll be much better, that I'll probably be interested in playing him. So basically Mr. Ono was on stage. Basically is synonymous with the Street Fighter series. Basically he got on stage and just basically made some announcements. He said that there will be 6 additional characters that will be unlocked using in-game fight money, and he did give us a final date for a release date for the game, and this happens to be 16th February 2016. So that's very, very soon, and that was really, I was really happy with that. At least it was something nice to get from the conference. So we've got a final release date for Street Fighter 5, and that's 16th February 2016. And then he teased or said something about a new character being reviewed. He would review another character, and this ended up being Harada-san. Mr. Harada, basically, he's synonymous with the Tekken series. And we got to see him coming on stage just immediately after that announcement was made. Of course, it was just a joke, just a way for him to come through. And I really got excited because this meant that, of course, there would be some news on Tekken 7. But unfortunately, nothing much. Basically, just announced that there will be a Tekken 7 for PlayStation 4, something that I guess we all know or knew about. But the real thing that I guess that we really need is like a time frame when we should expect the release for the game. But that wasn't given, so we just have to keep on waiting until finally get more details on when Tekken 7 is going to come out. So yeah, we're still waiting for that. After that, I think we got a trailer for Battleborn, and basically there'll be an open beta, and this will be available for coming first for PS4 gamers. Next, there were some titles that were announced. I thought I would have sworn they'd put like three exclusive games coming, but I don't really think so. Maybe one or two, third one, I'm not so sure. But anyway, there's a new game, Boundless. It seemed really interesting. I really liked the aspect where it's like you could basically go step into different worlds. It looked really cool. Something about it, I don't know why, it reminded me about that the first time I ever saw there's a game called Cooler World. Forgotten what it's called in the United States, but over in Europe it's called Cooler World. I can't really describe it, just something which is different, but at the same time I was really interested in. That's how I felt back then, and that's how I felt right now. So I'm really interested in seeing or knowing more about what Boundless has to offer. Next, there was an announcement for a game. I don't know if this is called Avicii Vector or it's just Vector. Of course, Avicii is the electronic musician. Basically, he's helping develop a rhythm game, where you basically be able to design your own levels, and so it's basically a rhythm game that should be out in 2016. Then the third game which was shown off was No Man's Sky. Finally, we got something close to a release date, not an exact date, but at least a period, and we were given June 2016. That's when we should expect to get No Man's Sky. So Mr. Michael Denny came out, and he basically made some announcements. There was an announcement which was made for Matterfall. And this game comes from Housemarque. If you've played I think that should be Dead Nation on PS3. There's also a version on PS4 as well, which was recently released. They're the Housemarque are the developers for that game, and they're developing this one. So it looked good. There was a trailer which was shown off. It looked okay. It looked good, and I really enjoyed Dead Nation. So I'm definitely going to look forward to finding out more about Matterfall. And then after that, we got to see Ratchet and Clank, some footage, basically a trailer for Ratchet and Clank, the new Ratchet and Clank. And I'm definitely someone who enjoys the Ratchet and Clank series. So it was nice seeing that, and I'm looking forward to playing the game and actually even watching the animated movie short, which I'm sure should be out soon. Next we got to see Horizon Zero Dawn. For Horizon, I think the footage that they used was, we had something which was almost similar to what we had at E3. Although I think it was a bit different. In my opinion, it was a bit different in the sense that I think it was much longer than what we got at E3. And yeah, some people are not happy about that. Personally, I found it interesting. Basically, I enjoyed watching that, and really looking forward to playing Horizon. We still don't have an exact date when it's going to be released, but they still maintaining the release of the game in 2016. So we'll see what happens. But I won't really get my hopes up. It would be nice if we get it in 2016. There's nothing wrong with that. But I wouldn't be surprised if it gets pushed to 2017. But even then, there's like there are like lots of games to play in 2016. So if it gets pushed to 2017 to make the game better, I mean that's okay with me. I'm cool with that. Next we got to see a trailer for Bloodborne, the Old Hunters. And from the last, if you remember the last podcast I had mentioned, that was the one that had to do with the Tokyo Game Show, the press conference at Tokyo Game Show. I think we got a release date of 24th November, so this was just something that was repeated, 24th November. Yeah, it looks nice. Really interested in playing that. I still have to finish the first I still have to finish the first part, which is the actual Bloodborne game, before I probably consider looking into the expansion pack, which is the Old Hunters. So anyway, I'll be getting around to that, but it's nice to know that there's more Bloodborne to go around after I'm done with the main campaign. So that's Old Hunters, Bloodborne. If you haven't heard, it's coming out on the 24th of November this year. And one announcement which I was really interested in, basically it's Driveclub. I think this particular announcement somehow was leaked before the media briefing, but anyway, it's okay. Driveclub, we basically are getting bikes in the game now. So we no longer only use 4 wheels. We can also now tear down those roads in competition on 2 wheels. And yeah, I'm really excited about that. Evolution Studios are people who have done is the studio that is behind MotorStorm, and I love using the bikes in MotorStorm, so I would like to see how they've implemented the bikes. I'm interested in finding out how they've implemented the bikes in Driveclub, and we'll see how that goes. So that is available as an expansion, and I believe there'll be also a standalone game. And for those and it was announced that just after the show, that's some 2 hours ago now, 2-3 hours ago now, the expansion for the bikes was available just immediately after the show, so it should be in I actually even saw a message on Facebook from Evolution Studios, so they're basically stating that Driveclub, the bikes in Driveclub are now available, so you should be able to find them there. I'll try to get my hands on them probably later on this week. Someone from Japan Studios came through to talk about Gravity Rush 2, basically talking about the combat system, the new type of combat system that they have, and the 3 gravity styles. There's the Lunar style, which makes your main character be lighter and quicker, and Jupiter style, which enables them to become heavier and be able to deliver more powerful attacks. So we were also given a trailer. It's looking good. Really looking forward to finally playing Gravity Rush. It's a pity I didn't get to play it on the Vita. Someone stole my my copy of Gravity Rush before I even got the chance to play it. So it's been something that I've been, thinking about replacing, but finally we get this announcement that it's coming out on the PS4, so I'll definitely be getting the first and second game definitely on for the PS4. Unfortunately, the Vita doesn't get Gravity Rush 2 on they doesn't get Gravity Rush 2, which is a shame, but anyway, that's how things go. Okay, sorry if I'm appearing to really go through this quickly. I need to prepare for work tomorrow, and like I said, I just got home, started watching the press conference, then had to prepare, try to come up with what is in this particular presentation for the podcast. So forgive me for being a bit fast if I just breeze through these announcements. Okay, up next was Uncharted 4. We basically got to see some multiplayer footage. It really looked interesting, and definitely we'll see if I can try to play that. Mainly on my part, when it comes to Uncharted, I usually just play the main campaign, and basically that's it. Never really gotten into the multiplayer aspect, but we'll see how it goes with Uncharted 4. Of course, the release date is the 18th of March 2016, which is just around the corner. And for those of us, or for those of you who can't wait for Uncharted 4, there will be a multiplayer beta on the 4th of December this year. So you'll be able to check it out then. One of my favorite studios, Media Molecule, had a presentation basically on the new game that they're working on, which is called Dreams. In Dreams, so we had Alex Evans and Mark Healy. Of course, Mark Healy was doing the actual demonstration, while Alex was just doing the explanation. Basically, we were told that the game is still the game that we were being shown. What the footage we were being shown was in the alpha stage, and basically got to see an imp. Basically, that's what they are calling I don't know if I can call it an avatar or something that will be using to explore and maybe communicate throughout the world and the like. So you can use that imp to whenever you enter into a particular probably dream, and there are characters or objects that are there, you can use the imp to possess these, and you'll be able to control and animate those particular objects or a person that you use to explore the particular game. What I'm really hoping, because it looks really cool, and of course I love Media Molecule, I love Little Big Planet and stuff like that, but what I think will really help sell the game and everything like that is how easy it is for people who aren't really creative to create stuff, to create content. That's one point. And then the other thing is, personally, I can see, because I've seen the crazy stuff that people were able to do with Little Big Planet. So I think this is much more, it gives more accessibility. If I don't know how to really put it, but I really can't wait to see once this game is put into the hands of gamers, especially the creative types. I can't wait to see what crazy stuff they'll be able to come out, because really I think it's really good. So I just really hope that this particular title does well, because it's not every day that it's not always that we need shooters and sports games and stuff like that. We need these different experiences basically to help push the games industry. So it's really looking cool, and I can't wait to see what gamers will be able to do with it. And then the president for Worldwide Studios came out. That's Mr. Yoshida Shuei, and basically he was there to talk about PlayStation VR, the virtual reality set for the PlayStation, basically for Sony. And he mentioned that there were 8 games that will be available at the show. So for those of us who aren't there, well, unfortunate for us, but for those who are there, they get to experience. They've got about 8 games which are on show, which they'll be able to to look at. We got shown a trailer for Rigs, which is some competitive game, mechanized combat league, something like that. Yeah, that looks interesting, but of course, I think the full benefit is for those who actually experience that VR experience, where you've got the actual PlayStation VR on headset on, and you get to experience that. But yeah, looked okay. One thing that I was really okay, I can't really say jealous because um, the VR PlayStation VR gets Until Dawn, and this new Until Dawn title is called Rush of Blood. So this is exclusive for PlayStation VR. So wow, Until Dawn, one of my favorite games for this year. One of the titles that I've mentioned. I don't know if I've mentioned it on the podcast before, but it's a title definitely that I've like been waiting for. Finally came out. I was really happy. I enjoyed playing it, and now we have a new Until Dawn, and well, it's a VR exclusive. So see how that goes. Hope it does well. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. And then we had someone from Crytek, and they showed off a game called Robinson the Journey. I think I was just doing some research on it on the internet, and this title I think was originally announced at E3, but I'm not sure if they showed off the footage. But we got to see some footage today, and it looked cool. It really looked good. The I don't know whether I could call it a sidekick or maybe the character that was the other character. Basically reminded me of I'm sorry, but it reminded me of who's this guy from Porto? Yeah, there's that thing from Porto. Forgotten that character, but Whitley or something like that from Porto, and yeah, he reminded me a bit of that guy. So anyway, but it was cool. I enjoyed it. It was nice. So we're definitely looking forward to seeing more of Robinson the Journey. Of course, there's Battlezone, which is tanks VR for basically for a PlayStation VR tanks game for VR. First on PSVR, coming first on PSVR. And one shocking announcement, this one I didn't really see coming, was the fact that Tekken 7 will be coming for the PlayStation VR. So we'll see how that goes. That's really interesting. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, that was the announcement for Tekken 7. Another big announcement was that we'll be getting a new Gran Turismo. This is called Gran Turismo Sport. And luckily enough, Kaz Yamauchi was there as well. He basically made some announcements, basically explaining a bit about the game. There will be two main features of the game. Basically, they've partnered with FIA, which is, I don't want to say it in French, it's the International Automobile Federation, FIA, basically. So they've made a partnership. So there will be two championships. There will be a Nations Cup. So basically, I guess gamers like myself will be able to represent our own countries, and of course amassing points and stuff like that. And then there's also the manufacturers fan club. So if you like a particular brand of vehicle, maybe Mercedes, your maybe particular brand, like if, for example, the same Mercedes that I mentioned, and you'll be able to race under the Mercedes brand, and you'll be able to win points and stuff like that. One interesting aspect is the fact that the champions, people who do well in the game, and become the champion at the end of the day, will be able to attend the FIA ceremony. So there's the FIA ceremony, that FIA ceremony, that takes place where the real world drivers are awarded for their accomplishments throughout the year. People who who are able to win championship series in the game will be able to attend the same and be able to be given accolades with their real life drivers around, also who are also getting awards. That reminded me basically of what happens with FIFA. There is the FIFA Interactive World Cup, and winners of the FIFA Interactive World Cup usually attend the awards ceremony. I think if I'm not mistaken, it's the Ballon d'Or. They also get to attend that. They're also given their trophy at that particular event. So you end up rubbing shoulders with top players like Messi, Ronaldo. So in the same way, even those who do well in Gran Turismo, who are able to do well in the competitions, will be able to rub shoulders with famous race car drivers. Yeah, so that's very interesting to see. But a release date, of course, Gran Turismo games really take a lot of time for them to be released. I wasn't even looking anyway. The Kaz says that there will be a beta test early 2016. Okay, fine. If it comes later on, maybe past that date, I wouldn't be surprised, because that's usually what happens with Gran Turismo. Usually a date is announced and then gets pushed. But that's all right. That's okay. So anyway, for those of you who are interested in Gran Turismo, try to keep an open... we've been told that it's early 2016, so don't be disappointed if it doesn't end up being around that time. So yeah. And then we got to see Wild. Man, this presentation, I really, really, really enjoyed this particular presentation. Okay, I saw, when was this? I think was it at E3 this year or last year? I've forgotten where I saw a bit of Wild, and I was like, okay, yeah, interesting game. But after today, the presentation that was there, I was I really got into it. And the way the presentation ended, where you had that, I don't know whether I can call her snake goddess or something like that, asking the main character, do you really want to pursue this path? Do you know what it means when you do that? I mean, if at that point, that's where the game really got me. And I'm hoping that a lot has been done when it comes to the story. If they can deliver a compelling narrative with the game, I'll really, really be happy with that. So I'm rooting for them. Being a French developer, it was in their country. They were really happy about doing what they're making that presentation. I'm rooting for them, hoping they're able to deliver this game. I believe this particular title is exclusive for the PS4. Then was this the last announcement? I think this should have been the last announcement. David Cage, the man behind Quantic Dreams, the developers of Heavy Rain, and what's that other title? Beyond Two Souls on PS3. The two titles that were on PS3. He came out to announce the new PS4 exclusive title. When he came out, I've just forgotten the sequence of events, but before anyway, let me go through this. Before we got to see Beyond Two Souls, there was more or less what do they call them? A tech demo. Okay, a tech demo. Basically, it was a tech demo about this Android, and you should really check it out. It was really cool. The Android was found to have a defect. They wanted to destroy it, and the Android's it had some feelings and stuff like that. But anyway, let me not because I'm just basically off my top of my head and I'm really tired right now. So anyway, I was really interested in it was something that a lot of people really liked. Like it had according to David Cage, about 27 million views. And I remember people back then really wanted the game developed so that we can get to know the story behind that particular android that was created, that was almost discarded, that was almost destroyed. So back then I was like, I really would like to see this as a game, but David that back then was like, no, we're not doing this. It was just a tech demo. The real game is beyond Two Souls. So yeah, there's nothing about it. So when this got announced, like when they showed footage of that tech demo, I was really excited, and I was really happy to know that they are finally going to develop a game that is going to finally give us, enable us to play out or to experience the story and the stuff like that. Really, really happy about that title. And the title of the game is Detroit Become Human. It had something below there which said something like Become Human. And like I said, it's a PS4 exclusive, and I was really, really excited about this. Really, really happy that we're going to finally find out or finally get to play this particular title. So all in all, so that was basic. I think that was the last announcement that was made. So all in all, it was, I enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the announcements that were made, and gives me something really to look forward to. So next stop, the next press event, or the next PlayStation event will be PSX. That is PlayStation Experience. I think it will be in November, if I'm not mistaken. Forgive me, I'm tired right now. But it should be in November, I'm sure. Should be in November. And looking forward to certain announcements to be made. There were some things that I was expecting in today's press event, but those weren't really announced. So I'm still keeping hope that they will be announced in the next event. So looking forward to PSX, which will be coming very soon. Okay, so I think at this point I'll be saying goodbye. Forgive me for not being able to release these podcasts on a weekly basis. The past few weeks have been a bit rough at work, so I didn't really have enough time for me to create more of these podcasts. But whenever I have the time, I will definitely be creating more. So otherwise, thank you so much for listening. Please remember to subscribe to the AlienMyndz YouTube channel if you haven't already done that. So this has been the Alien Transmissions podcast. Thank you very much for listening. Happy gaming.